opening kickoff. Coming up next, Altitude FC, Nanaimo United FC.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, everybody outside and in between. It's the official start, the halfway point of the 2025 League 1 BC season, and it's kicking off with Nanaimo United FC against Altitude FC. Good afternoon, everybody. Caleb Green. Unfortunately, Alex Ronsley is still not here. So for the time being, you're going to have to deal with me. Luckily, Nanaimo's next home game isn't until July, so it's a good month or so that you won't have to hear from me every weekend. Both teams are particularly short on goalies. Both Luka Ortu and Marco Illich starting for their respective sides as there's a rush the other way. Kept out there, a great defensive play by Nanaimo. Their defense has been one of the major stories of this year. They have, of course, yet to record a single win, but most of those games have been close. And the offense of late has dazzled. They've scored goals in 4 straight games. Looking to continue that streak against an Altitude team coming off a 2-0 loss last week to Langley. Both teams' backups are converted from midfielders. Michael Happel for Nanaimo, Kiara Shamadpour for Altitude, as we've got a whistle to start. Two defenders wearing the captain's patch for both teams today. Fergus Hall for Nanaimo, Nathan Walter for Altitude. Coben rushing ahead, and almost an early goal there. Would have been a disastrous way to start the half for Nanaimo. There you see Marco Illich alongside his 2 primary defenders, Fergus Hall and Matt Coburn. Long ball from Illich. He's been outstanding so far this season. Not exactly sure of the top 3 in save percentage in the league this season, but I'd be surprised if Illich wasn't on there. Marshall on the near side to Wiz Shavula. Can't imagine how many times he's been called Wiz Khalifa, either accidentally or on purpose growing up. It's either a good or a bad thing, depending on how you want to look at it. Personally, I'm indifferent to the artist. There's Shavula again. Declan Brown chips it back to Gabe Altsmer, formerly of Unity. Now a rush for Altitude the other way that stops before it really begins as it rolls out of bounds. Coburn gets it past Bushman Dormand. Herbert tries to stay with it, but it goes beyond the line, nearly clears the fence. It's been informed that our video is having some issues on the visual side, so I guess we're going old school with this one. Should be back to normal in just a bit. Here's a chance now, and out comes Illich to play it. He makes a great save on Herbert. See there, Marco Illich. Dressed in pink, Luca Ortu is opposite goalkeeper. Dressed in highlighter green, he started every game for Altitude this season. Been very fast paced so far as Altitude gets it back. Altitude gets another chance to reset. Kick coming for Altitude as they look to break the scoreless tie nice and early in the first half. On the way, it's headed up, and it goes just outside that right post. Illich weighs his options, sends it across. Long ball from Ortu. Headed back. Ron McKenzie hustling after it. Both a player and an assistant under head coach Kevin Lindo. Holds that same position with the VIU Mariners alongside the goalie coach Scott Brown. As Shavula gets tripped up by Hollum. Chips it back. Sent out by Coburn. Hollum takes the tumble, and now it's Nanaimo who's the beneficiary. Headed back out. Zarmanu sends it ahead. Great interception there by Nanaimo. Goes back to Altitude. It's been a very high event game so far, even if the scoreboard says otherwise. Goal kick coming for Illich. Sends it across to the longtime VIU Mariner, Matt Coburn, who will be joining me up in the booth as I call games for the VIU Mariners next season. Can't imagine how that'll work with him technically being retired, but technically not. But either way, it'll be nice to have someone like him join me. Chip back into the Nanaimo zone. And it goes off of Coburn, out of bounds. Couldn't quite get to touch Caleb Clark. It'll be a throw-in for Wiz Shavula. Nearly taken away by Rayner. Comes back over to Ali Azarmanu. Azarmanu on the far side. He's forced to backpedal. Coming it back over to Luke over two. Across now Marshall. On the near side, Shavula again. As he gets tripped up. A pile of humanity. Both Ashton Bryan and Nicholas Hollum converge on Shavula. Zarmanu sends it back. Here's Lucas Booth. He goes behind. Looking ahead now for Clark. Coburn tries to keep him boxed out. He can't quite do it as it's headed up. Comes back over. Here's Shavula. Makes a nice move. Tries to work his way past. Shot blocked in front. They try another shot. It's kept out by Illich. A fantastic save by Marco Illich to keep it tied. Throwing now for Shavula. We apologize for the dog that you may hear. Unfortunately, our crowd mic here is not the best. And this could be trouble. Azarmanu wins the race to the far side. It's kept in bounds. Long ball coming from Mortu. As it's headed down. It rolls out of bounds and it'll go back to altitude. You're still in the mood for more action after this. Fear not. Game 2 between the Nanaimo Night Owls and the Wenatchee Apple Sox is on just a few hours from now. So if you're in the mood for baseball, and I don't see why you wouldn't be, feel free to check them out, either on Night Owls TV or in person at Sir Oxman Stadium. Preparing for the long ball. He locks eyes with Coburn. Perhaps that'll be his target. As it's headed back, Gabe Altamere able to stay with it. Sent ahead by McKenzie. Nearly had Declan Brown in. Instead it comes over Nicholas Hollum. He scored Nanaimo's first goal of the year, and he looks to get another. Josh Rayner has it now. Chipped back to Hall. Nanaimo regains possession as Suka Bahari, reigning League 1 BC midfielder of the year, gets tripped up. Here's Bahari trying to get it past the wall. Bahari swings it to net. Coburn nearly has it in. It goes off the head of Coburn, nearly past door two, but it rolls just beyond that left post. There's Coburn again. Back over to Shavula. Both Hollum and Charlie Smith giving chase. Here's a Zarmanu. Back over to our two. Swung to the far side. It goes off of Matthew Marshall and out of bounds. It'll be a throw in. Or Nicholas Hollum. And Altitude wins the race. Headed by Clark, rolls out of bounds. Comes back over to Josh Rayner. Fergus Hall. Chips it over to McKenzie. Back now Rayner. Over to Hall. Bahari. He's been one of the leaders in the locker room this season. And he's definitely got the talent to back it up. As now Nanaimo's got a good chance. Declan Brown. On the near side, it's Hollum. Works his way around Shavula. Hollum tries for the shot, and it goes off the back of, I believe, Shavula again. Alia Zarmanu starts the rush for Altitude. Comes back over to Clark. Coburn all over him as it just stays in bounds. It's Clark against the world now, and so far, Clark seems to have a head start, and a great slide tackle there to push it out of bounds. But that will, of course, necessitate a dreaded corner kick. 18 minutes gone by. Altitude looking to get the first goal of the game. Post for long ball swung towards the net. Headed out by Coburn. Herbert tries to stay with it. Wraps it back over to Caballero Nunez. It's the kind of name you got to slow down when you're pronouncing. I mean, you could just call him Adriano, but, you know, most commentators operate on a last name basis. Off of Carvalero Nunez and out of bounds. It'll go back to Nanaimo. Herbert looking ahead. Out comes Illich to play it. Denies the chance there from Caleb Clark. He's a very aggressive goalie, and he's been burned by that a couple times this season. But when it works, it works. And it worked right there. Here's Ortu. Comes back over Coburn. Sent ahead for Hollum. Gets tripped up, taken away by Shavula. Now Gabriel Altamare. Drops it back for Bryant. Bryant heads it up as Herbert takes a trip. Brown tries to stay with it. Looking ahead, Charlie Smith puts on the brakes. Sends it over to Bahari on the far side. Bahari tries to stay with it. Swings it to the net and into the hands of Luca Ortu. Great save there from the Altitude goalkeeper. Marshall. Over now to Lucas Booth. Aaronicki tries to keep it in bounds. He does, but it comes with a cost. Nanaimo fighting for possession. They have it for a moment, but they elect to dump it back in. Ortu sends it back out. Looks like a handball from Clark. As it comes back over to Marshall. On the near side, here's the Wiz himself. Looking for Herbert as it rolls out of bounds. It will remain Altitude ball. Herbert against his opposite number, Altamare. Back over now. Clark takes a tumble. Two distinct piles of humanity. Herbert delivers the kick as it's headed out by Declan Brown. Suka Bahari looking ahead, and Nicholas Hollum is off to the races as it goes out of bounds. Nanaimo will retain it, however. Bahari tries to stay with it, lose it. Bryant there to cover his six. Josh Rayner takes a tumble. Same situation as just a minute ago. Except this time it's Nanaimo with a chance to strike. Suka Bahari, the reigning midfielder of the year, and Gabe Altamare. Only a wall separating them and Ortu. Here we go. Bahari swings it to the front, and it goes beyond the goal line. Rayner sends it ahead for Altamare. He drops it back. And he takes it again from Bryant. Rayner sends it to the far side. He gets it back near center. Has his pocket picked by Clark, and now Herbert's coming in. Comes back to Clark, chipped ahead. Altitude will retain possession as it's Carson Bushman Dormand, and a yellow card coming. Bryant. Coburn sends it ahead. It's a collision. Azarmanu comes out with it. Here comes Azarmanu with a shot! Off the post! The rebound! It's called offsides. It remains 0-0. Shades of what happened in the first half in the women's match. Nearly down to the second. Or two. Chips it back. Headed in. Goes over Brown. Altmer able to stay with it. He's got some momentum. On the near side, here's Bryant. Gets it back from Altmer. Now Charlie Smith comes in. He's got an angle. Smith comes in, and it goes through the goal mouth and beyond the line. Charlie Smith nearly had the icebreaker. Here's Walter. Takes a stroll. Looking ahead now for Shavula. He's got a good angle here. Shavula trying to swing it to the front, and it's gloved by Illich. And going right back into the action is McKenzie. Dropped back for Hall. Out to center. Back to Hall. Goes past Brown as Azarmanu takes a tumble. Marshall on the near side, Shavula again. He's been all over the pitch so far. Clark nearly has it as it's sent out. Herbert chips it back over to Shavula. Long in front. No one was there. As it goes through the legs of Matthew Marshall as he tries for the throw-in. He gets it right back from Shavula, who gets it back himself as he gets tripped up by Bryant. You hear Marco Illich there. He is not happy. Here's Carson Bushman Dormand. Trying to get the first goal of the game for Altitude. Here we go. Up back. Herbert tries to stay with it, and it's taken away. Don't know exactly what Altitude was thinking there, but Nanaimo's not complaining. Now a chance for Nanaimo the other way. As Bahari takes a tumble, you hear a pretty long whistle there. It'll be a yellow card against Adriano Carvalero Nunez. will be Suka Bahari. You see him waiting there on the far side with a chance to give Nanaimo the lead. The wall begins to form. You see him waiting there with Declan Brown and Nicholas Hollum. Bahari's already scored once this year against TSS. Can he do it again? Well, let's find out. Here we go. Bahari. Right into the hands of Luca Ortu. Rolls out of bounds, goes back to altitude. Smith, the last one to touch it. Over the head of Altamare. Herbert sends it ahead for Zarmanu. Long to the net, and it's headed out by Bryant. Rayner battling forward on the far side. He loses it. And now a chance for Herbert the other way. Herbert swings it, and it's blocked by Hall. Block off the shoulder for the Nanaimo captain. Azarmanu goes behind the back. Nanaimo escapes relatively unscathed. And Declan Brown takes a big hit on his way to the goal. Another yellow card coming against altitude. Same situation as last time. Bahari swings it to the net. The wall cascades and is kicked up. Another chance now. And Luca Ortu is going to do it himself. Bahari gets it back. Nanaimo has to reset. Here's McKenzie. Back across Bahari on the far side. Swings it towards the net again. Looking for Charlie Smith. And into the hands of Luca Ortu. Both goalies so far have been outstanding. Bushman Dorman gets tripped. And the first yellow card coming against Nanaimo. Not exactly sure if there's any deeper meaning to it, but
No, there is none. I think they just like that far corner.
those two far corners have been the spot of all three yellow cards so far. And it's not even the second half yet. Is it voodoo? Is it wizardry? Is it two teams that just don't like each other? I'll let you be the judge of that. Kick on the way, swung towards the net, and it goes beyond the right post. Headed back in by Zarmanu. Then again by Altamare. Declan Brown takes a tumble. Over to Clark. Clark on the far side. As it's sent back out. Rayner going for the long ball. Charlie Smith nearly has it. Instead it goes to Nathan Walter. And a massive hit there. You heard the scream. Play resumes for now, perhaps trying to get a penalty kick. Still is not walking, as now Bryant takes a tumble and finally play is stopped. The first foul of the game. It's a foul and a yellow against Charlie Smith. As Illich scoops it up. Don't exactly know what they're putting in the water in North Vancouver. But these two teams have been really physical so far. Back out to center. Marshall turns the key, gets it across to Shavula. One man to beat. Shavula makes a nice move. Has it taken away by Bryant, but it rolls beyond the goal line. It'll be a corner kick on the near side for Oliver Herbert. 38 minutes gone by, nearly 39. Both teams still scoreless, but that could change very soon. And another long whistle as Fergus Hall looks to be in some discomfort. You see him clutching that arm right there. He looks to be all right, at least for now, but as you can see, he is still in a lot of pain. Everyone sets up at center. Marco Illich elects to join the party as he sends it there. Here comes Wiz Shavula. It's the one-armed man, Fergus Hall, who gets things going. Now Nicholas Hollum makes a nice move. Tries to work his way inside. Nearly has it for Declan Brown. It's taken away. Bushman Dorman able to stay with it as he tries to beat Coburn. Bushman Dorman swings it to the net, and he nearly has the header. If I had to make a guess, probably 1 or 2 minutes, potentially 3 added time, due to all the whistles that we've seen so far. It'll be a corner kick for Carson Bushman Dorman as he tries to get altitude on the board. sends it in. Herbert. It's Herbert against the world right now. Comes back over Shavula. Back to Herbert. He takes the pass from Azarmanu. Tries to get inside. And Illich denies him right on the doorstep. Long ball goes all the way back to Luca Ortu. Here's Shavula again. Ashton Bryant, a great slide tackle there. But it comes at a cost, and another corner kick coming for Altitude. This time it'll be Oliver Herbert. Here we go, kick on the way. And it goes past everybody and out of bounds. Thrown in, headed by Zarmanu. Rayner gets it over to Behari, who loses it, and Nanaimo gets it back. Into the 44th minute now, it remains scoreless. Fergus Hall, you see him trying a bit of trickery there. He fools Clark the first time. Altimer comes to his aid. He drops it back to Rayner. Comes back over to Hall, now to Illich. On the near side, it's Coburn. Here's Altimer. Declan Brown, he's got some room to move here. Smith gets tripped up, no calls coming yet. Here's Clark. Off the shoulder of Holloman, remains at center. Chipped back into the Altitude zone. Ortu comes to play it. 45th minute, almost a lapse. It remains scoreless so far. Out comes Illich to scoop it up. There's a lot of mental things that go into being a goalkeeper, especially when you're coming out to play the ball. Brown shakes off a tackle from behind. Minimum of 1 minute will be added. 2 for 2 on those predictions so far for me. Long ball from Ortu. Sent back to center. Herbert tries to get it. Instead it comes over to Azarmanu. Lucas Booth takes a heavy hit. No calls coming. right into the hands of Illich on a dangerous save to end the first half. Still scoreless through 45 here at Kenneschuk. Second half coming up in 15 minutes.
45 minutes in the books.
In the interim, we'd like to take this time to thank our club sponsors, all of which have been with us since our first year.
Nanaimo United FC.
RLR Lawyers, our lead sponsor. Ramsey Lamb Rhodes Lawyers, our Vancouver Islands lawyers. O'Neill's, our official team supplier, keeping NUFC looking sharp for more than 7 years. Wildwood Health, our club athletic therapy partners. Rehabilitation, sport performance, personal training, pediatrics, and more. Gearing you up for all of life's adventures. Junk in Our Trunk, the official sponsor of our practice kit. Your top choice for junk removal and moving services on Vancouver Island. Seaview Home and Auto Glass, the official sponsor of our youth supporters, making it possible for our youth to come out and support NUFC. The Martin Velson Real Estate Team, our field sponsor, helping West Coast buyers and sellers achieve more wealth through real estate since 1993. And Footprint Security, providing the highest level of security and service to Vancouver Island for 40 years. As well as our official club partners, Wolf Brewing, Nanaimo Track and Field, VIU Mariners Athletics and Recreation, the Nanaimo News Bulletin, and the Jingle Pot Pub. Thank you for supporting NUFC. We'd also like to acknowledge the following league partners: Gatorade, Rehydrate, Replenish, Refuel. The Cruyff Institute, educating athletes, sport, and business professionals to become leaders in sport management. Derby Star, the official ball of the Canadian Premier League and the preferred match ball for League 1 BC. Hummel, the official apparel partner of League 1 BC. The Canadian Premier League, where Canadian soccer takes flight. One Soccer is the home of soccer in Canada. Join the movement and watch every CPL and Canadian national team match from any device. And BC Soccer, encouraging us all to play, inspire, and unite. Second half coming up in just a bit. 15 minutes later. No, there's no hot dog this time. Second half is underway from Kikinishuk. Both teams still scoreless. Good chance the other way for Bushman Dormant. Immediately tries to swing it to the net. It had a good amount of curve to it, but it couldn't start turning fast enough, and it's going to roll beyond the goal line. And it'll be a goal kick for the Nanaimo goalkeeper, Marco Illich. Plenty of subs coming on for both sides there. You saw Ben Creswick just now wearing number 8. Ryder Skolka there at center. He lays a massive hit. A knee to the head. That's a yellow card at least. Ryder Skolka knees the altitude captain Nathan Walter right in the head. It was on ball, so no foul called. But still, that's at least a yellow. Like, I don't care if it's on ball or off ball. A knee to the head is still a knee to the head. But Nanaimo's not complaining. As it rolls beyond the goal line. That's... It's got to be 1 minute of added time at least. Another goal kick coming from Marco Illich as he forms the triangle with his 2 defenders, Fergus Hall and Matt Coburn. 2 of them, of course, former captains in their own right. Fergus with Nanaimo, Matt with VIU. And Skolka again trying to take lives. This time it's Lucas Booth who seems to have crossed him. Carvalero Nunez chips it in. It comes back to Illich. Illich sends it out. It'll be a throw-in for Adriano, who himself throws it out of bounds. Here's Coburn. Chips it to the far side for Hollum. And here comes Joseph Hergas, full head of steam. Hergas looking ahead. Skolka can't quite hold on to it. Comes back over to Hollum with a shot, and it goes just beyond the right post. Chipped ahead. Great block there on Bushman Dormant. And Nanaimo's got numbers up the pitch. Big collision there, and now they put the whistles away. Bushman makes a nice move. Tries to get it in front. Push to the far side, where Adriano waits as it rolls out of bounds. Coming for altitude. Kick on the way, swung in front amidst a sea of bodies, and it's chipped back out. Kept up by Shavula. Now it's Herbert. Back to Carvalho Nunez. Here's Azarmanu. Great block there by Fergus Hall as he denies Bushman Dormant. And it'll be another corner kick for altitude. And it's up, trying to head it. Kick goes right through the sea of bodies. It'll be another corner kick, this time on the opposite side. And it's Oliver Herbert's turn to be the executioner. Not so much of a wall as a shapeless pile of humanity in front of the net. Kick on the way from Herbert, swung to the front. Misses everybody. Goes beyond the goal line. It's a goal kick for Illich. Coburn sends it across as it rolls out of bounds and back to altitude. Altitude showing more urgency now. Here's Bushman Dormant as it's taken away. Suka Bahari is able to win the race to it as he shakes Aranicki out of his shoes. Now Ryder Skolka going ahead, not going to take any lives this time, or perhaps he will in a different way. Skolka tries to stay with it, and it goes out of bounds off of Nathan Walter. Corner kick coming for Nanaimo as they look to grab their first lead. Kick on the way, swung in front, kept out by Ortu. And cleared to center. Chipped back in. Headed out by Aranicki. Bahari tries to stay with it. You see him being ever elusive. Bushman Dorman nearly trips On the near side, here's Carvalero Nunez. And right into the hands of Illich as there's a collision at net front. Illich makes the save, but at what cost? Perhaps a cost far too great for Nanaimo to bear. He looks to be in a big amount of discomfort. He hasn't gotten off the pitch since making that save. And now the medical staff's coming out. There's now a non-zero chance that Michael Happel will have to take Illich's place. Primarily a midfielder by trade. And Illich is back on 2 feet. Illich looks to be okay for now. Might have just gotten the wind knocked out of him. Going immediately for the long ball, he doesn't skip a beat. And another attempted assassination by Ryder Skolka. What is he doing? Sent ahead by Walter. Hollum able to stay with it on the far side. Looking ahead now for Skolka. He can fly. Ryder Skolka makes a nice move. Drops it back off. Here's Ashton Bryant. Looking back in. Ryder Skolka shoots, and it goes beyond. So far, that has the makings of one of the most entertaining 0-0 games so far on the season, as we've officially crossed the halfway point. Zarmanu sends it ahead for Bushman Dormand, and Illich kicks it back out. Bahari. Now Brown. McKenzie. Chip back over for Brown. As he blows a tire, Lucas Booth tries to get it. Passing lane taken away. Creswick chips it back out. Also see there Gabe Altamere. Taken away again. Intended for Adriano. Rolls out of bounds, and Nanaimo retains it. They're starting to apply a lot more pressure now. Goes off of Azarmanu again. He's irate. by McKenzie. Gonna get it over to Brown, but Azarmanu takes it away. Chip back over for Altamare. Intercepted by Shavula. It's basically turning into a giant game of ping pong, or perhaps keep away here in Nanaimo. Altamare giving chase on the far side as Altitude gets it back. Rolls out of bounds, Nanaimo gets it back. And another injured player. To my knowledge, this may be the most physical game in League 1 BC this year. And it's a pleasure, of course, for both me and my entire production crew here to bring it to you live from Kakinishuk Stadium on the official League 1 BC TV YouTube channel, which is way too long of a name. There will undoubtedly be some extra time added, likely in the 3 to 4 minute range. Both sides getting ready. Still a scoreless tie as of right now, but it could break at any moment. Thrown back in, it goes over to Wishavula. Sent back for Luca Ortu.
Nanaimo United substitution, exiting the game number 11, Jonathan McKenzie. Entering the game number 19, Joseph Hergoss.
Mackenzie's evening is done. Joseph Hergoss will take his place. And now a chance for Altitude. Here comes Caleb Clark as it's taken away by Coburn. Kept in bounds. Now Nicholas Hollum takes it away as it goes out of bounds and back to Nanaimo. Great play there by Nicholas Hollum. Skolka as it goes out of bounds and back to Altitude. Nanaimo's defense has so far returned to its early season strength, only allowing 2 goals through their first 3 games as that ball clears one fence, perhaps another. Chuck back in. It's Adriano Carvalero Nunez who prepares to throw it in.
Not only that, it's substitution. Actually in the game, number 17, Gabe Alcantara. Entering the game, number 12, Alex Gadon.
Alex Dadam checks in. He scored 2 weeks ago against Unity en route to a 1-1 draw. And perhaps another draw coming as Coburn shoots it right into the back of Declan Brown. Friendly fire in the Harbor City. Thankfully, Brown seems to be okay. But still, not the brightest play from the former VIU captain. Here's Joseph Haragas. Suka Bahari loses it. Comes over to Herbert. He's got a good lane. Herbert swings it over. Shavula trying to get in front. Here's Clark now. Nearly comes back over to Herbert, and Creswick takes it away. Chipped back in by Booth. Another shot that goes beyond the goal. Great day to bet the under here in Nanaimo. Everyone gathers at center. Long ball coming from Illich. Kicked back up by Fergus Hall. Comes over now to Thomas Budisa. Here's Budisa on the near side, taken away by Haragas. Keeps it in bounds, gone back over to Dadam. Creswick. That's chipped back out. Dadam takes it away. Looking ahead for Suka Bahari on the near side. He can fly. Suka Bahari, you see him almost taunting Azarmanu as he takes it away. And taken right back by Creswick. Or two hustling to pick it up.
In the game, number 14, Thomas Budisa.
Here comes Shavula, gone ahead to Clark. Can't imagine how hot it must be wearing those all-black uniforms, especially in this part of the year. When I left for my bus this afternoon, it was 21 degrees Celsius. I can only imagine how hot it's gotten since then. It says 26 or 28 right now. So either way, no matter how you slice it, it's a burner here in Nanaimo. Azarmanu rips it away from Dadam. Now here comes Shavula, looking ahead to Bushman. Dormand. Kept out. Another chance by Booth, has it blocked. Great defensive play by Nanaimo as it rolls out of bounds. Here's Marco Illich. He's been outstanding tonight. Bahari keeps it inside. Herr-Goss trying to shake off Budisa. Sent back ahead to Bahari, and he turns on the Jets. Bahari sends it across. Taken from behind by Wiz Shavula. Nathan Walter chips it back out to center and sends it for Caleb Clark. He gets tripped up by Coburn. It will be altitude ball, and the question now is Coburn going to get a yellow? He will. You hear the approval there from a decent amount of altitude fans who made pilgrimage from North Vancouver. Glad to see everyone here at the pitch, regardless of their affiliation. Long ball rolls beyond the goal line. And it'll be another goal kick for Marco Illich. It's been a very turbulent existence for Altitude FC. They currently sit at 2-3-2 on the year. They did earn an 11-point swing from 23 to 24, making it all the way to the finals where they fell to TSS. But now with the playoffs abolished, at least for this season, they're still looking for life in the league title race. Dadam strips it from Herbert. Keeps it in bounds on the far side. Skolka chips it back ahead as it rolls beyond the goal line again. It'll be a corner kick for Nanaimo as they look to get the game's first goal in the 75th minute, most likely. Kick on the way, going to the front of the net and just kept outside. Now potential rush for Altitude the other way. Here's Carson Bushman Dormand. Clark sends it ahead. Shot there, goes wide. Alex Aronicki nearly had it. Collision of bodies there. Control one back by Nanaimo. But Altitude's going to get it right back. And there's a big amount of unhappiness with the call on the pitch.
Altitude substitution, entering the game number 6, Matthew Marshall, entering the game number 11, Tyrese Mees.
Tyrese Mees checks in for Matthew Marshall. Lucas Booth sends it across to Zarmanu. Looking ahead now, this could get ugly. And they score on the rebound. It's Carson Bushman-Dormand who breaks the scoreless tie in the 77th minute. Nanaimo on the back foot now. Still ample time to tie it, but they've got to hurry. Missed a sea of bodies on the near side. Comes back over to Herr Goss. Here's Bahari as it's sent out of bounds again by Nathan Walter. There'll be a throw in for Joseph Herr-Goss.
Substitution back in the 75th minute. Entering the game number 17, Aaron Curtis. Entering the game number 9, Caleb Wolf.
Headed up. Gurisa able to chip it back out. Here's Bahari. Poked away by Aranecki. Bahari again. Hounded by a sea of defenders, and it goes back to Nanaimo. Goes back to Nanaimo again. Carson Bushman-Dormand, your lone goal scorer so far. Sent ahead now for Bahari as he tries to get loose. Looking in front now. Ben Creswick with a shot. He misses the header on Nicholas Hollum, and it goes back to Altitude. see there on the left side of your screen, altitude. Seems to be having a night on the town. Seconds tick away, they turn to minutes.
Altitude FC goal scored in the 77th minute by number 7, L1BC Dorman. Nanaimo United substitutions, exiting the game, number 21, Matthew Coburn, and number 20, Nicholas Allen. Entering the game, number 4, Ethan Furlong, and number 16, Maxwell Dadsey.
And for the first time in a good bit, we've got a new face at Kikindashuk Stadium. Maxwell Dadsey making his first appearance at home on the year. He's joined by another one of his comrades, Ethan Furlong. Kick on the way for more two. And Furlong forced to kick it out of bounds. Out of bounds again, it goes back to altitude.
Altitude substitution in the 83rd minute, exiting the game, number 7, L1BC Dorman. Entering the game, number 36, Brandon Minatani.
Furlong comes away with it. And nearly had Bahari. Momatani is able to pick him off. Back to Lucas Booth. Walter back over to Booth. Creswick nearly takes it away, and this could get ugly. Out comes Illich to stop it. Round two coming from Momatani as he tries to swing it in front. Caleb Voth waiting on the near side for it. Goes past to Zarmanu. Booth comes in, and he gets tripped up. Furlong tries to win it back. No calls coming. Now Another save there by Illich. Here's Fergus Hall. Now Creswick in the 87th minute now, 1-0 Altitude off a goal from Carson Bushman-Dormand as Ortu is able to make the save. Here's Dadsey on the far side. He can't win it back. It goes back to Altitude. Nanaimo earns possession back. As they look to tie, you see them moving a lot quicker. Goes off of Dadam. Nanaimo still retains it. It'll be a kick from right in front of the Nanaimo bench. To the front of the net as the wall closes in. Altitude holds strong. Javula carries it out. Chipped ahead by Budisa. And a bad slide tackle there. Gets Tyrese Mees right in the leg.
Substitution in the 87th minute. Exiting the game, number 23, Lucas Booth. Entering the game, number 10, Declan Freeman.
It comes back over to Ortu. Nicky chips it ahead. Brown. Back over now here, Goss. To head now, Nanaimo looking for the equalizer, but Harry swings it to the front and he puts it through the wrong posts. And that'll make it 3-0 Raiders. Nearing the end of the 90th minute now, it remains 1-0 for Altitude off a goal from Carson Bushman-Dormand, who has since gone to the bench. A very successful game for him all around.
The fourth official has indicated a minimum of 7 minutes.
A minimum of 7 minutes. That's a pretty good amount of time. Chance now off a series of deflections, and Illich able to stop something. Is it time for extra time heroics in Nanaimo? Dadsy loses it. Chipped out of bounds. Shavula sends it into the fence and it'll go back to Nanaimo.
Exiting the game, number 7, Suka Bahari. Entering the game, number 10, Johansson Pierre-Louis.
And it's J.P. Lewis making his first appearance at home. Looking ahead for Ox to Dom. Brown able to head it down. Brown tries to stay with it as it rolls out of bounds and back to altitude. And another injured player on altitude for what's been a very physical game for both teams. Thrown back in. One back by altitude. Here comes Caleb Voth. Tyrese Mees takes a tumble as it rolls beyond the goal line. Goal kick coming from Marco Illich. For the long ball. Shavula dumps it back in. Illich makes a leaping grab as he rolls it over to Fergus Hall. Hall sends it ahead, and that's a bad collision there. Ryder Skolka again taking another life as he clobbers Nathan Walter. Absolutely vile, disgusting, inhumane. Nathan Walter, the altitude captain, takes a brutal hit. At this point, they're running out of body bags, and it's only 1-0. Like, what's going on here? At this rate, we're going to have another half. Walter does look to be okay. Kick coming from Luca or two. Headed up by Brown. Headed up by Momotani. Headed down there by Ryder Skolka, who has a lot of explaining to do later. And it's Joseph Harrigas who takes a tumble. Kick coming from Illich. Headed down by Zarmanu. And it's like dominoes with flesh. Did Dom lose it? It goes off of Brown out of bounds. Creswick tries to get to it. Caleb Voth tries to get loose. Then to the far side. Good block there. Voth gets tripped up! And that's a penalty kick! Of all the times to get one! It'll be a penalty kick. Tyrese Mees trying to double Altitude's lead on a penalty kick. Here we go. Mees scores. 2-0 Altitude, Tyrese Mees. Now a 2-0 hole for Nanaimo in extra time. Comes back over to Fergus Hall. Caleb Voth gives chase. Headed back down, there's JP Lewis. Playing in his first home game of the season. Sent ahead now, another break for Tyrese Mees. Out comes Illich to play it! And kept in bounds. Dadzi trying to get it ahead and scooped up by Luca or two. Trying to burn as much clock as possible. Sent back out by Herr Goss. Bryant tries to get it. There's Ryder Skolka again. And what is there to say that hasn't been said already? An absolutely brutal game for both sides. The 7 minutes of minimum added time in the second half should tell the whole story. it's not a story that will need retelling for the rest of the year. As it rolls out of bounds, and we can finally lay this game to rest. 2-0 Altitude, both their goals coming in the second half. We'd like to take this time to thank some of our club sponsors, all of which have been with us since our first year. Ramsey Lampman Rhodes Lawyers, our lead sponsor, and Vancouver Islands Lawyers. O'Neill's, the official team supplier, keeping NUFC looking sharp for more than 7 years. Wildwood Health, our club athletic therapy partners. Rehabilitation, sport performance, personal training, pediatrics, gearing you up for all of life's adventures. Junk in Our Trunk, the official sponsor of our practice kit. Your top choice for junk removal and moving services on Vancouver Island. CVU Home and Auto Glass, sponsor of our youth supporters, making it possible for our youth to come out and support NUFC. Martin Velson Real Estate Team, our field sponsor, helping West Coast buyers and sellers achieve more wealth through real estate since 1993. And Footprint Security, providing the highest level of service and security expertise to Vancouver Island for 40 years. And our club partners, Wolf Brewing, Nanaimo Track and Field, VIU Mariners Athletics and Recreation, the Nanaimo News Bulletin, and Jingle Pot Pub. One more time, on behalf of Alex Coates, Jason Coates, our entire production team here at Kakinishuk Stadium and on League 1BC TV, I'm Caleb Green, saying good night, and we'll see you next time.